Hi guys, so I have some things I want to share with you. So I'm home. I got home really, really late last night, and I'm hoping to not go to school. It's the beauty of a Google Classroom. So I have here, in a big mess, I have my sources, and I have my benchmark paper. And so I've just put together my graphic organizer, and I'm going to tell you right now that I'm writing one essay now, and then probably tomorrow I'll write the other side as well, because I think these sources can go either with yes or no, but I just want to make sure you're on the right page. And this is especially for kids who may be gone. So I have a handful of kids who have started spring break. So and also, if you get confused, you can come right back to it. So if you fall behind and you're not at this particular point right this minute, you can get where you need to go. Okay, so working on the graphic organizer. So I have mine all filled out. So it's kind of jot notey, and it won't really make sense to you. So this particular essay that I'm writing right now is, yes, we should adopt a 4-day school week. And yours should look different from mine. So I'm just going to walk kind of through it, what I did. And I want you to not necessarily do exactly what I did, because you need to really think about this. So when you write about the issue, you should, say should, because what you're going to do is write a letter. So should the Port Angeles School District adopt a 4-day school week? And so I said, yes, we should. Because it can go either way. I think no might even be easier to support. So, but I'm going to do yes because. So then you have to have two big reasons. So as you go through here, I just started making little notes about, like, this was about attendance and this was about test scores. And then I just kept taking little notes, and then I just noticed certain things, because you have to have two pieces of evidence for each reason. So you have two reasons. The first one's good. The second one is better. So I just came up with really big reasons. We've talked about test scores and attendance, but that's hard to find two pieces of evidence for both of those. So even think bigger than that. So if you think about attendance, another piece of evidence that works for that would be discipline. And you could talk about, like, a reason could be like student skills. Coming to school and not getting in trouble at school is a student skill. It's kind of what basic expectations are, but you attend school, that some kids don't come very often and they get in trouble, and so they do go together, because if you come to school regularly and if you don't get in trouble regularly, generally you do better in school, statistically speaking. So those are great things to put together. And then we talked about test scores, and you can talk about test scores, but again, it's going to be kind of hard to find good evidence that you can elaborate. So I went really big on my two reasons. I think it's good for families. I think a 4-day good week is good on families. And I think it's great for kids. So I kept it really simple and really big. So I found tons of evidence. And so I found two pieces of evidence that show how it's good for families. And remember, you have to cite all 4 sources. So I think it's easy to support your reasons with the first 3 sources. And then source 4 gets a little bit tricky. But, if you've looked at your outline, and we've talked about this before and how you organize an argumentative essay, you have to give some background information to kind of get the reader acquainted with the overall issue. So I'm going to throw source 4, the law, into the background information and just put it there. So when I'm looking for my evidence, I'm only looking at the first 3 sources. And yes, in a paragraph, you can use a source more than once. What you want to make sure that you definitely use kind of equally the other sources as well, so you have a nice balanced argument. And I think these are easy to do that. So in my evidence, when I wrote down evidence, I didn't write it all down because we numbered the paragraphs already. So I just wrote, like, source 2, paragraph 10, source 2, paragraph 13, things like that. And then I also took little jot notes here about other things I want to talk about. So I don't want to necessarily cite evidence, but mention that not only is it great for kids, because I could go on and on about attendance and test scores and discipline and everything else. And I found a couple choice pieces that work for like my teacher's perspective of it. So I can add that. I can cite it, or I can paraphrase it, or I can just have it as an anecdote or more information. So my more persuasive reason is it's good. I've got a lot of evidence for it. So then you jump down to the counter argument. And the counter argument is, what is the other side going to say about having a 4-day work week? I call it a work week, school week. So it's any of those issues, like it's going to be hard for families that have young kids. The savings aren't what they're cut out to be. It might interfere with educational outcomes. Anything like that, you can pick. I picked that the savings, they're fairly minimal. So you're not going to save as much as some districts say you would, because you still have to pay for textbooks and maintenance and heating and stuff. And so I've had to find some evidence that supports that the savings are minimal. That's easy to do. I think I found some in 2. I found some in 3, and source one more talks about the increased learning. So I stayed away from that one because I don't want to even talk about that. And then I'm going to go back to, and I explain in evidence after I cite the source that shows that the savings are minimal. I have an idea. And my idea is, even though the savings are minimal, that money could go back into classrooms and programs. And then there's some information in source 3 that talks about source 3. Oh, I'm looking at source 2. It talks about how schools, how administrators and teachers already work 5 days, but I find that a positive. And how with extra money in our classrooms to spend, because right now I get $75 a year to buy materials for school. So that's not a lot of fun stuff, So if I could do the math and figure out the savings transportationally, like that would be not a bad deal. So that's where I'm going with that. And then my call to action is I want us to have a 4-day week. So it's a letter. So it should be done by now, but some of you might be struggling. And now we're going to jump to the outline. And the outline, you're probably going to write more than you have room for. So this is another place where everything here is a sentence. And then I'm going to add some more jot notes, because when I type, I don't want to lose my thought of what I want to talk about. So I always skip the attention grabber, and I do that at the very last, because I'm not sure where my essay is going, and I'm not sure what I want to say. So I always do that last. So I have my background information, and basically I'm going to say right now we go to school 5 days a week, and according to education laws in Washington State, attendance requirements by the State of Washington Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction states that each school district shall conduct a school year of no less than 180 days. So I'm going to quote that. And in addition, district-wide annual average, 1,000 hours in grades 1 through 8. So I'm going to cite that particular piece of information so that we have to go that much by state law. And then I will offer my proposal of the math that we put together and get us to the point where it's a new trend that maybe we should look at. And although the research, although there are pros and cons, there are more pros and cons. So, and then I'm going to hit you up with so I took mine apart because I can't stand to flip papers. You guys know that. So then you get down to background. So I have background and it's minimal. And then you have to, number 3 says your purpose for writing. So the whole argument is where you write the issue. Should Port Angeles School District. So I just put in there, should Port Angeles School District adopt a 4-day week? And then I give my 2 reasons without a transition word. It's good for families and it's great for kids. So it's good for families, period. it's great for kids. And I'm using different language like good and great to really emphasize the fact that my first point is good and my second point is better. And then my thesis statement is going to be pattern 3. And so I say something like, it's not super great. Even though it would be an enormous change, Port Angeles School District should adopt a 4-day week. So come up with something a little bit better than mine. So then I'm going to start with first or to begin or something, and I'm going to talk about it's good for families. And this is going to get messy. There's probably not enough place for you to write your sentences, so jot notes, you know, the things you want to include are great. I do want everything here in a complete sentence that you can put together, because when you write fragments, that turns into your essay, and then you have an essay with fragments. And then the structure gets lost. So make sure you do that. And then paragraph 3 on the back side here, I'm going to talk about how it's great for kids. And then I'm going to talk about, yes, the costs are minimal. On the other hand, the savings are minimal. And then I'm going to get you back to my point. And then I'm going to just recap everything and make sure I seal the deal and that the reader feels like I'd be crazy to not adopt a 4-day school week. So this graphic organizer should be done. Oh, sorry, it's called an outline. Sorry. I'm reading here. By the end of Tuesday. Most of you should probably get through it by Monday, so that Tuesday it's super easy. And then, of course, when you finish this, start typing. And then we're going to, let's see, Tuesday, first draft. Oh, the first draft done typing is by the end of class Thursday. That's really easy. And then we're going to peer edit. And we're gonna print on Thursday, and you're gonna highlight it. So you'll use your notebook to make sure you highlight it correctly. And this is where we figure out, oh, I don't have a counter argument, or oh, I don't have any evidence, or whatever. So it's another like catching of things that aren't going quite to plan. And then Friday we're gonna peer edit. We're gonna peer edit in the Google Classroom, and then polish up Monday, and then print that Tuesday, and then I'll be gone, scoring them with the other 7th grade teachers and the 8th grade teachers. And so it'll be super fun. And then you can take a big breath and realize that you accomplished something amazing. So anyway, stay with me. Holler if you have questions. And then when there are issues coming up, I will show you how you fix it. Okay, have fun. Bye.